Hey everyone, welcome back to the range. My name is Matt, also known as the Ammo Nerd. We have an ammunition review today in one of our more popular calibers, 5.56 NATO or 223 Remington or 5.56 by 45 millimeters. This is Scorpio. Ooh, Scorpio. 55 grain full metal jacket. Let's throw this guy on the table and talk about what we're going to do today. Now, in full transparency, I myself purchased this ammunition from Primary Arms to review with no strings attached with my own funds from Patreon. I saw one of my fellow YouTubers, bloggers mention that they were getting popped primers, or primers were leaving the case when they were shooting some of this, and they thought it might be overpressure, so I wanted to go ahead and pick some up and get some hard data on it and look at the velocities and check the primers on mine to see if we were having any possible issues. Since 5.56 is one of my more popular calibers, I have a wide array of barrel lengths from 7.5 inches all the way up to and including 22. After we've collected that velocity and general reliability, I only have about 200 rounds of this, we'll step out to around 100 yards to see what kind of practical accuracy we can get out of this. We have our Pro Paddle Digital DLX as always, as well as a Garmin Zero C1 from Bass Pro. It's around 70 to 75 degrees outside today. We start all of our tests off with our shortest barrel length. This is our 7.5 inch PSA build. Got a hollow sun up top. As mentioned in the introduction, we're going to see where these fall velocity wise, and if they are too hot, hopefully we don't have any issues. We'll check the primers between each barrel length. The Garmin is saying 2197. I did just replace our light screen chronograph today because the figures on the other one were a little off, and so I actually, before camera, ran both of them back to back, and the original one was like 30 to 40 feet per second slower than the new one, so I think we'll send that in to be repaired and or calibrated. Primers so far look good. They don't have any flat edges on them. Now we'll step up to our 10.5 inch SBR, another PSA build. Now we'll step up to our 14.5 inch. This is from Pro 2A Tactical. A mighty fine upper, if I do say so myself. Now on to our 16 inch. This is from Pickett's Mill Armory, just a standard AR-15 build of theirs. Not too shabby. I like that the anodizing is uniform. We have the little wedge in the lower receiver to keep the upper and lower very nice and tight. So far, no complaints about this. On to our 20 inch. This is a PSA build. It's got the FN double chrome lined barrel in it. I think it's the premium upper 1-in-7 twist. The velocity spec for M183 is 3167 feet per second from a 20 inch at 75 feet. So we should see 3160, if not over that, at about 12 feet. The the Garmin is reading 3215. I'll have to look what you guys can see. I can't see from here. but it looks like we're meeting that spec velocity-wise. And finally, the Armor Slayer. This is our 22-inch TC compass. This is known for getting really good velocities out of M193. I think the record is almost 3,500 feet per second with our Independence. Nice. Looks like we actually lost a little bit of velocity there. I've been looking at the brass. We haven't lost any primers yet. They still look pretty round. No case deformations or split necks or anything of those kinds so far. Since my buddy is with me today, he wanted to see if we gain any velocity off our suppressor, so we'll fire a few rounds from our Turbo T3. Here is our Scorpio 55 grain full metal jacket at 100 yards. We've got the TC compass with a 22-inch 1-in-9 twist in a lead sled with JK Armor rifle kit on there. First group 1.805 inches. Then about 2 minutes after, this one opened up a little bit, 2.697 inches. I would say that's definitely par for the course with a loading like this. Pretty much 2 to 3 MOA at 100 yards. Can't complain about that. Good plinking ammunition. Well, folks, there you have it. I would say in terms of hotness for a 55 grain full metal jacket, this is probably in the middle to upper tier as far as our velocity spec goes. We did meet what I would consider an M193 velocity. That's around 3,167 feet per second from a 20-inch. We didn't have any crazy warm velocities, though. We did test our IMI on the same day as a control lot, and that was even warmer. But that's not as warm as I've tested M193 before. I've actually got some Independence from 2017 that's like 34 to 3,500 feet per second at times from our 22-inch. When I was picking up the brass, I didn't notice any pierced or popped primers or any signs of overpressure otherwise. That's why I always include the lot in the opening, so if there is an issue, you guys can immediately identify that if you have some of this. Maybe it was just a fluke that he had one of those primers pop out of there. You know, this stuff is made in millions upon millions of rounds, and it's bound to have an issue every now and then. As far as our accuracy goes, right in line with what a 55 grain full metal jacket can produce. Typically with that bullet design, when we crank the velocity up, the accuracy tends to open up. But, you know, 2 to 3 MOA at 100 yards, I'm not going to complain about. With all that being said, it's time for me to get the heck out of here because the mosquitoes are biting the crap out of me. But at the end of all my videos, I take a moment to thank all those who help make these possible, because there's a lot that goes into them. Number one is my family. They were out here helping me take care of the property, and they do some shooting today. Number two are my Patreon, Subscribestar, and YouTube channel members. I have a campsite in the description below. There's various different affiliate links in there. I think there's one in there to Primary Arms, PSA, etc., and those are tracking links, and they earn me a sales commission. They cost you nothing, and what I do with that is I put it right back in the channel by, you know, dumping $120 into some ammunition to review, so you guys have some hard data on. And of course, number three is you all for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you at the range.